What's going on, guys? Today I got a special video for you, something I've never done before, something I've always wanted to do, I've just never really had much of an idea for it, but just out of nowhere one night, I had this kind of cool idea. I came up with my own devil fruit here, okay? I think it's pretty neat, and I'm calling it the Chimera fruit. So pretty much here's how I have it set up, okay? It's going to be a Zoan fruit, since a Chimera is in Greek mythology pretty much an animal, right? I can't see this being a Paramecium in any way, shape, or form, even though it kind of has wacky abilities, but I think just at its base, it has to be a Zoan. And the first big downside to this fruit is immediately after eating it, you actually can't transform into anything. The only effect this has on you is that you can't swim, right? So what I think would be a cool way for this to work, though, is let's say, since you know this is how it works in Greek mythology, we have to have 3 different types of animals involved with this, right? So what I think would be cool is if the eater, the user of this devil fruit, touches a particular Zoan user, then they can now use that Zoan fruit, okay? I would like to think with, the same amount of practice or aptitude and whatnot, they would be able to use the other user's devil fruit to the same extent that they can. It's pretty much like they now have that devil fruit. And they could do this with up to 2 more people. So let's say that some guy, with the Chimera fruit goes up to Marco, puts his hand on him, boom, he can turn into a phoenix. Then he goes up to Lucci, boom, he can also turn into a leopard, jaguar, I think it was a leopard, right? Yeah, so now he could turn into either one of those, whichever one he prefers, or maybe a combination of both. I don't really know how exactly that would work, but I could see maybe if he had like the wings of a phoenix and the bottom of leopard. I don't really know if the bottom would be that helpful, but I guess it's better than human or probably phoenix, right? So I guess that would be alright. And then he could even maybe touch Jack, and then he'd be able to also turn into a mammoth. He could have up to 3 different Zoan fruits at once. Now, I think that to an extent this is already a little overpowered. Of course, there are some limitations. When you first have this fruit, you don't have any Zoan abilities, so you cannot necessarily just go up to any Zoan user and touch them, right? Especially if they know who you are. Let's say you wanted the phoenix fruit, right? But you've just eaten this fruit, you just really started your pirate journey or whoever you are. It's going to be pretty difficult to get close to Marco, okay? This guy is one of the strongest people in the world as far as we've seen. You cannot just have the phoenix fruit. Of course, it would be helpful to maybe start at a lower devil fruit, a weaker Zoan, so that maybe it would help you get stronger, and you could also obviously just get yourself stronger. All you really have to do is touch them, so it's not impossible, but it's not like it's just completely GG, too easy freelo. You can have whichever fruits you want. Also, keep in mind, I have it limited to only 3 different Zoans at once, right? So you can only have 3 at a time, you can't go any more. How I think this would be cool is, right, so let's say the example I had, you first have the phoenix fruit, then you get Lucci's leopard fruit, and then you get Jack's mammoth fruit. Now, if you were to touch a 4th Zoan user, and I think it should be just limited to touch, like you don't have control of this, if you make contact with a Zoan user, this happens, it would shift out the first one. So let's say then you went and fought a Chopper? No, not Chopper, I guess that doesn't really make so much sense. Okay, let's go with Kaku. So now you touch Kaku, and you have the leopard fruit, the mammoth fruit, and the giraffe fruit. Now you can use those 3. You can no longer use the phoenix one. It got rotated out because it was the first one in line. I think it'd be a lot more balanced, okay, here, because first of all, you don't have control of this. If you make contact with a Zoan user, you're screwed on that, and a lot of the time that's not really up to you, right? Especially because Zoan users happen to be in your face. If you have like let's say you have the Buddha fruit, the phoenix fruit, and I think the leopard one's actually pretty good. Let's just go with those 3 for now. Let's say you have those 3, right? You consider that to be like the ultimate combo, at least as far as we've seen in the universe, all the confirmed Zoans that I can think of. You're feeling pretty good, you're really happy with where you're at, but then, Kaku comes up to you and starts fighting you, and he hits you. Now, you don't have the phoenix fruit, right? Now, you still have the Buddha, and you have the leopard fruit, but now you have the giraffe and you had your phoenix fruit rotated out, and you didn't even intend for that to happen. You just got screwed. I think it's a very, very balanced, completely fair way to make this fruit reasonable. I also think that a character with this devil fruit would have a really cool effect on the story, not just, with how awesome that devil fruit would be. I think it would be a super cool one to see, of course, but just imagine the motivations that the character who has this devil fruit would have, right? Honestly, it would fit pretty much perfectly for Blackbeard or anyone in his crew, since they just want to find devil fruits to become more powerful. Also, a member of Kaido's crew would be very cool, since they're all Zoans. Depending on how strong these Zoans actually are in Kaido's crew, they would always have at least like safe backup Zoans that they could be using. I mean, if Kaido is like an Oni or whatever, Jax is pretty decent. Maybe Queens, if there actually is a Queen, that Zoan user would probably be pretty powerful. So those are three right there. Could always just have in case you get screwed somehow facing a weak Zoan. That would be awesome. But yeah, I mean, I could just see this devil fruit user completely focus on trying to hunt down the people with the strongest Zoans. Like, they want to find Sengoku, they want to find Marco, maybe even Drake. I don't really know how powerful his Zoan is at the moment. We've only seen him in full-fledged Zoan form, which seems like one of the stupidest ideas I've ever heard of, considering it's a T-Rex. He doesn't have arms, right? Like, you're really going to be a T-Rex in the One Piece world. All the ridiculous, like, superhuman abilities people have without even using devil fruits. You're going to be a T-Rex. No, I don't think so. I think the hybrid form would probably be a lot stronger, so maybe that one is going to be really powerful, because it's been shown so far that X-Drake is supposed to be pretty fucking powerful. At least that's how I'm interpreting it. And another really, really cool thing about this fruit is that I think it could be introduced in an awesome way. Listen to this. So what if, they're just doing their thing, we're going through the story, and they find someone who has, I guess, the leopard fruit. That seems reasonable, I guess, at this point. Or maybe even the phoenix fruit, but I think Marco's... I just don't think that's realistic, so I think he's going to be coming back. I think Lucci will as well, but it's just not really the same thing. Let's just say that they come across someone with the exact same devil fruit that Lucci's been using, and they're just like, what the fuck is going on here? Lucci must have died at some point? That's crazy, I guess. But then they realize... And then this guy turns into a different Zoan, and they're like, wait... What is going on here, right? They just start piecing this together. It could be introduced as a devil fruit in the coolest way. I would love to see it be introduced in a way like that. I would be, well, I guess I might expect it at this point, since I've kind of come up with this idea, but I think that would be an awesome way. Hell, when I think about it, actually, it might even be better if it was Marco's fruit, right? Because all this person would have to do is touch Marco, and then they can use the phoenix fruit until, it gets rotated out, I guess. But because of the way that Blackbeard has acquired his fruits, he killed Thatch, and Whitebeard he didn't really kill Whitebeard, but he was dead and then he had his fruit. So, kind of, as far as we're seeing, either the user has to die and then the fruit has to be recovered, just like how Dofi recovered it, or there is the Blackbeard technique, I guess, but pretty much they have to die. So the reasonable assumption from the crew or whoever encounters this Chimera user would be is, okay, well, the person who used to use that fruit is dead now. And that would be really, really hard to believe if this guy was using the Phoenix fruit, right? But at the time, we would have nothing other to assume than that Marco must be dead in some way, shape, or form. And then, of course, this person would use a second fruit, and we'd be like, okay, what the hell is going on? Is this guy like Blackbeard too? This is crazy. Then maybe use a third one and just be like, okay. Whoa. You probably then, go, ooh, I'm a Chimera fruit user, right? I can do this. And it would explain it to us, just like all the antagonists do. Very simple, of course. But yeah, so I would be super, super excited to see a fruit like this in the One Piece world. I don't know how likely it really is, but it would definitely be cool, and I don't think it's unreasonable or anything. I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if there was some kind of Chimera fruit, maybe not, exactly like how I have it, or even close to that at all. Maybe it'd be much more specific, like exactly when you eat it, it works a certain way. It's not like different based on what's going on around you or who you touch, or you understand what I'm saying. But yeah, yeah, I think a Chimera in some way, shape, or form would be pretty reasonable to expect, maybe even from Kaido's crew, probably from Kaido's crew, if anything, considering that there's not that many Mythical Zoans that we've seen so far. I mean, I would like to see more, right? I think we can all agree on that. Kizaru does claim that it's even less common than a Logia, but I think there's, what, 11 Logias right now, and we've only actually confirmed 2 Mythical Zoans, so I don't think it needs to be that much rarer. I would like to see more. I think a Chimera could come in for sure, and I would be super excited if it was similar to the ideas I've set up here. If you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Remember to leave me a comment letting me know what you thought about this video. Maybe this theory is just way too far out there. I don't even know if I'd call it a theory. It's just my ideas on something that would be a cool Mythical Zoan fruit in the future. Let me know if there's any other cool devil fruits you guys have thought of that maybe you'd like me to give my 2 cents on. Maybe, like, you know, take that and add a few things to it or whatever. I don't know. Just let me know what you guys have thought of in terms of new devil fruits. I hope you guys have a great end of your weekend, and I'll talk to you on Wednesday.